Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I am Ricardo. I am currently the Vice President of Global Marketing for the Feminine Care franchise in our consumer sector. And it's a real pleasure to be here with all of you today, especially because about 16 years ago, I was exactly in the same position as you are today. For me, the intention today is really to share some of the key things that I have considered not only when I first joined J&J, but also throughout my career that made me over and over again choose this company as the company that I wanted to work for. Can we start with the slides, please? So just to give you a brief context of my history before J&J, I am actually an industrial engineer by graduation. I graduated at the University of São Paulo, but I am someone that started pursuing a career in marketing quite early. So before I graduated, I actually started with Ferrero, the chocolate manufacturer, and I've been experiencing several companies. So I sold chocolate for Ferrero, I sold shampoo for P&G. I even had the opportunity to be in management consulting with BCG for a little bit over a year. But also through those experiences and the different things that I was doing early in my career, more and more I became certain about the passion that I have for consumers, the passion that I have in making a difference to those consumers every day. And that has been something that continued to guide me in terms of the choices that I have made throughout my career. So when I left BCG to join Kellogg and do my MBA, I already knew that marketing was what I wanted to do. And that's within that context that J&J started to show up in my career for the first time. So like you, I was investigating and going after several different companies. And the IRDP program that J&J offers caught my attention. If you can move to the next slide. One of the big things that made a difference for me throughout that search was our credo. Not only for the words that our credo have, and I'm pretty sure that you guys probably have gone through it or have heard about it. If not, I truly invite you to go over it. But for me, more than words in a paper, the certainty that in every connection that I had with any of J&J employees, be it in the interviews that I was participating of or in other connections that I was making, friends that I knew were working for J&J or other people that came in my way, as part of my decision process, I always felt that those words were live and in action. So you really feel that the company lives by the credo, putting patients and consumers first, and then also taking care of the employees, the community, and making sure that it works to put together sustainable business. And by that, the company firmly believes that it will constantly reward the shareholders. And that has something that J&J has proven constantly to happen. So not like any other company, but the mere fact that J&J is within the only two companies that have a AAA rating, and also the fact that it has been raising dividends for over 50 years is an attestament to its strength. And something that I have also recently discovered that continues to strike me. This is a company that is now being able to generate over $1.5 billion in free cash flow every month. So imagine the power that this company has in order to continue to do breakthrough work in improving health and wellness for the population all around the world. That's why it's also important to understand that Johnson & Johnson goes far beyond the consumer sector, which is most likely the one that you have seen most of your life. So you probably know brands like Tylenol, Aveeno, Neutrogena, Johnson's Baby. However, J&J has much more to offer than just that. We have our pharmaceutical sector, which is more and more discovering innovative drugs that help fight big diseases of today, like HIV, like cancer, like diabetes, and an amazing pipeline still to come. And also it has medical devices, which continues to invent and create new ways of doing surgery, like knees replacement, hips replacement, non-invasive surgery, and now also exploring how robotics will have a room into that. So this is all very, very exciting. And the combination of those factors actually made me choose Johnson & Johnson for the first time. That was back in 2002 while I was still at Kellogg. And then a few months later, in July of 2003, I actually joined the company as Senior Brand Manager for Carefree. And if you move into the next slide, please. So my early days at Johnson & Johnson also showed me that the company continues to drive and to promote health. And the video that you guys have seen in the beginning of this presentation is actually a very recent material that is putting into life the purpose that has been now crafted in words. And here we have it. So J&J is a company that stands for this. So we blend heart, science, and ingenuity to profoundly change the trajectory of health for humanity. And we do it throughout our three different sectors. Of course, we do it in different stances. So while in consumer, we help improve the day-to-day lives of the everyday consumer. In pharmaceutical and medical devices, oftentimes we are really saving lives and completely changing the story of individuals and patients and consumers. Moving to the next slide. My early days of Johnson & Johnson were spent in the consumer sector in Brazil. And I quickly had the opportunity to start working with several different brands of that portfolio, like Carefree, which was the one that I started with, but also OB, KY, Sundown, which is the leading sun care brand here in Brazil, and Shower to Shower, that is known in Brazil as Banho a Banho, which is a deodorant brand. But more than that, it was also clear that as an IRDP, I was considered a person that had quite a strong flexibility to adapt and embrace different roles. So it was no surprise that my second role was actually not a traditional brand management position, but actually I became responsible to manage media, promotion, low-income consumer understanding, and other insights that we could get from the outside world to define new initiatives that we could do as the marketing department as a whole. So from being focused on a set of brands, then I was already helping the entire department in progressing, in staying tuned with the new trends and constantly reinventing yourself. And you will see that Johnson & Johnson is in fact a company that is constantly under reinvention. So although we have this strong tradition, we do not stay put, and we continue to challenge ourselves no matter how hard it is, because you know that for a big company to keep changing is not a piece of cake, but we know that, and we continually stay tuned with the outside world, and we bring in the new trends and the new external environment situation to make sure we continue to reshape our organization.